everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Read. I'm so excited you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming. Happy Wednesday. How is it going? I tried to kind of mess with the lighting a little bit, so hopefully this will work out okay. I see there's already some chat going on over here. How's it going, you guys? Hi. Hit the thumbs up on my way in the door. Thank you, Seesaw, for it. I have exciting news, you guys. There's Sir Bean swag. I'll kind of sit up a little bit so you can see. So this is the first t-shirt that I have gotten, and I am so excited to actually have the Sir Bean swag. I was like, okay, how's the quality going to be? How's it going to come out on the shirt? And it looks so good. I also have a tank top of Sir Bean. So for any of you that ordered a tank top, it's a little bit wrinkly because I had it sitting on the bed. But we have Sir Bean tank tops as well. This is a large size, just in case you were wondering. It is soft. It's really soft. And I actually haven't worn it or washed it yet. You probably should wash your shirts before you wear them. I do understand, but I really wanted to wear it today. And we just got it last night and I just didn't have time. So here is Sir Bean t-shirt. I cannot wait to get the mug in. I hope that it's awesome. That should be here. George, do you know? I think it should be here in the next couple of days. You guys should start seeing your Sir Bean swag. If you ordered any, you should start seeing it in the next couple of days as well. So yeah, should be awesome. Oh, Payne says, I bought the book yesterday. Thank you, Payne Plans. Awesome. Yes, the book is up for pre-order. The Witch's Key is up for pre-order for May 19th. So if you want a chance to see, if you're here today and you haven't actually read The Witch's Key with us, then that'll be your chance to catch up before season 2 and read the final version of the story. Or you can always go back right now. It will be in the description box below for where you can catch up with the story. There's a few ways that you can catch up, which is going for, you can read it on Wattpad. The link is down below. You can read it on my blog, or you can listen to me read it, which is a time investment at this point, but so much fun. Underneath all of the videos that I did, I gave you guys a little bit of a link if you want to just go straight to the story. So if you're catching up, that's a good way to do it. Jay Prince asked which book for the bestseller list. So if you are just joining us, I am trying to hit the USA Today Bestseller List this week with a group of my friends. This is kind of an impromptu thing that we're trying to do. So I have no idea. A lot of times when groups try to go for the bestseller list, it takes them months worth of work and thousands of dollars worth of investment. And we haven't done any of that. So I'm nervous about it because I'm like, we're trying it and I've announced it and I've told you guys, but really it's up in the air. We've sold on Amazon so far about a little over 500 copies of the book on Amazon alone, which is a good start. So we need to be selling on Amazon about 200 books a day. And then we need to be selling, 50 or so books on all the other vendors per day. So those vendors don't respond as quickly in terms of knowing how many sales we've got, but we're on track with Apple Books. We're on track with Kobo Books. Barnes & Noble is going a little bit slowly, but we are getting close to the top 100 at Barnes & Noble. So hopefully that means there are some sales coming in that we haven't seen yet. So far I feel like we're on track for it, but it's one of those things. So Kelly said, how's it going? Or will you not know until it's over? So we'll have a really good idea probably by Thursday or by the end of Thursday, whether or not we have a good chance. So when I see you guys on Friday, I'll have a much better idea of whether it's going to be possible, because our big BookBub ad is on Thursday. And if that doesn't sell at least 2,000 copies on Thursday, I think we're out. So we'll just have to wait and see. You just never know. And then sometimes you can sell as many as you think. Like, it's not like, oh, if you sell 5,000 copies, you're guaranteed to hit the list. You have to be the top 150 best-selling books of the week. So if it just so happens that you only have 4,000 sales, but it happens to be a slow week, you could still hit the list. Other weeks, you could sell 6,000 books and still not hit the list because there were other best-selling books than yours. So it's just one of those things. And yes, all the other authors are also promoting it too, to their lists and everything else. So we'll just see what happens. So thank you guys for your support with that. I appreciate all of you that have bought a copy. If you have not grabbed a copy of Once Upon a Kiss, which is the anthology that the story I'm reading this week is from, then I would absolutely love for you to go ahead and buy a copy of that book. It is 17 stories that are fairy tale twists with a kiss involved somewhere in the story. So some of them are more obscure fairy tales. Some of them are like mine, which are like Little Red Riding Hood and stories that you know. But it's 17 different authors, and it's a definite mix of different styles of writing. So if you like discovering new authors, there might be some authors you really enjoy. Some of the stories like mine are more teenage, and some of the stories are almost erotic. So kind of tread with caution when it comes to choosing the story and seeing what you like. But that's kind of one of the things I love about anthologies, is that you can try out a lot of different authors and see if you want to go on to read some of their series and things like that. And I actually have discovered a lot of authors that I love and series that I love from anthologies like this. So for $1, why not grab it? So hopefully you guys will enjoy it if you did pick it up. I really appreciate it. So I'll keep you guys updated. So Debbie said, post in the coven, Sarah, if you make the list before Friday. So you never know if you made the list until the following week. So the USA Today Bestseller List counts sales from Monday to Sunday each week. And then the following Thursday, the list is published in the USA Today paper. So we won't know until next Wednesday night or Thursday morning whether or not we made the list. So like I said, some weeks you can sell enough that you think, oh, I'm going to make it for sure. And then you don't, because there's just too many other people selling books. So you just never know what it's going to be like. So it's one of those try your best and keep your fingers crossed kind of things. And then you wait and see. So I appreciate you guys, your support on that. A couple things I wanted to mention is if you've enjoyed my reading aloud of my story and you're a Harry Potter fan, my friend Jennifer messaged me last night and was like, did you see this? Because I had not seen it, that apparently they're doing this Harry Potter at home thing, and Daniel Radcliffe just read the very first chapter of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone out loud. So it's cool to hear the actor that played Harry Potter in the movies reading that first chapter. So if you're a Harry Potter fan like I am, go ahead and listen to that. I have not had a chance to actually listen to it, but they have announced that they're going to be doing the entire first book, and it's going to be different people reading each chapter. And I cannot wait to see who all they get to read the different chapters. So it's neat to have Daniel Radcliffe reading the first chapter. And I think you can sign up for the like Harry Potter book club or something, but it's on the Wizarding World website. But I left a link for you guys down in the description box because I know many of you will like that as well. Uzmak says, hi, Sarah. I read Red a long time ago, so I wanted to know, will there be a sequel to Red? So I do have hopes for writing more about these two characters. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'm going to have time to do it. As one author in an anthology, can you see the stats for sales? So Carol, the way that it works with indie publishing is whoever actually publishes the book is the one who sees the stats. So in our case, it's Anthea Sharp has published the book for us, and she is the one who is going to tell us what the sales numbers are. So we're in a Facebook group together, all the authors, and she's kind of keeping us updated. So we'll have to see. Oh, your library's been advertising the Harry Potter read along. Very cool. So, yeah, I hadn't heard about that, but I was super excited. I also posted in the Coven yesterday, and I saw Christabel posted this on her timeline, which reminded me I wanted to post about it, that Stephanie Meyer announced that she is releasing the first book of the Twilight series in Edward's point of view. And if you were a Twilight fan, then you know that several years ago, she had announced she was writing this Midnight Sun, but it got leaked and she got very upset, and then it didn't get, like, it got posted to, I think she posted the rough draft or part of it to her blog, but then she was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to publish it. So she is publishing it. So it's coming out in August. So if you're a Twilight fan, this is something you're going to be excited about too. Please don't post any negativity in the comments about, like, you can say you didn't like the book, but I just feel like I'm afraid that this is going to bring up a lot of negativity for people toward the author or toward fans, because there were a lot of people who were like, I hated that book and I hate anybody who loves it. So it's like, no negativity here. If you didn't like it, then just don't be excited and it's fine. But a lot of us that did love it, like George, was that the one that I drug you to? I think I dragged George to the Breaking Dawn party at Barnes & Noble, the midnight release party, and then got home and immediately read the book, which was awesome. Now with Harry Potter, I also went to the like midnight release party, but I didn't actually read that book, the final Harry Potter book, for like 3 months because I was so sad it was going to be over. I just had to, like, it just sat on a shelf. And then eventually a few months later, I finally went into a side room, like the guest room in our house. And I told George, okay, I'm going to be gone for like 2 days and I'm probably going to be crying a lot. So just leave me to the reading. This was obviously before we had kids, but yeah. Oh man, sometimes ending a series is really, really hard. So, okay, let's get to reading. Also real quick before I finish, I am going to also let you guys know I posted, on people's posts, but I did give away 3 new prizes for the hashtag challenges. So Chanel Privet, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, won a $25 gift card to Amazon for posting about the Bellows challenge. Sherry Hollister, you won a $10 gift card for posting as well. And I think her post was a Moondust cupcake one. And then Shanna Wells Wright also won a $10 gift card for posting about the TWK finale. And so I gave away a few more gift cards and hopefully you guys will enjoy those. I also, if you get some Sir Bean swag, so if you get the t-shirt in or a mug or a sticker or anything like that, and you post it on social media with the hashtag Sir Bean, then I will also do a giveaway in a couple weeks for that, but I want to give people time to get their stuff in. So congratulations to you guys. I appreciate everybody posting. That was super fun and it made the entire finale really fun. So I keep feeling like, ooh, lots of ideas flowing for what we're going to do for season 2 to make it even more fun for all of us. So, all right, you guys, let's read the last part of Red. Hopefully my cheeks aren't going to blush because this one does get a little kissy. But here we go. I've never read anything like this out loud, but here we go. All right. So yesterday we read the first half of Red, and where we left it was Charlotte finally decided to get this mystery man out of the cage just in time before witches from the Ruby Gates arrived at their cabin. So chapter 3. We ran through the dark forest like 2 shadows, quiet and unseen. The man held tightly to my hand, pulling me along. I could tell he was going slower than he could, just so I could keep up with him. What exactly was he? Even though it was extremely dark out here with no moon to light the way, he seemed to navigate through the dense trees with ease, stepping over fallen branches and avoiding thick patches of brambles. Each step he took was graceful and elegant, and I followed him as carefully as I could. We'd been running for more than half an hour, and I was exhausted and freezing cold. I wanted to ask him to stop for a while, but I was scared to use my voice. It would have only taken the witches a few seconds to realize the man was gone. If any of them were capable of casting tracking spells, we were done for, unless we could stay a few steps ahead of them. I pressed on, pushing my body to the limit for another 20 minutes before I finally couldn't run another step. I pulled my hand from his and leaned over, panting to catch my breath. He moved on for a few steps as if he'd barely realized I'd quit. When he walked back, he leaned against a tree and crossed his arms, waiting. He wasn't the least bit out of breath. You could have told me you needed a minute, he said. I held my hand up, keeping my head low as I struggled to catch my breath so I could speak. I figured you would stop when it was safe, I said. I straightened and clutched my side, wincing. Damn, I hadn't run that hard since I was a child. I had no idea I was this out of shape. How the hell are you not even a bit out of breath? Do you run marathons or something? He laughed softly. Not exactly, he said, not bothering to offer more information. He was staring into the darkness behind us. Are they following? I asked. They're searching the woods, but they're not terribly close, he said. You can rest a minute if you need to, but we will need to keep moving soon. I nodded and looked around for a place to sit down. The remains of a fallen pine crossed our path a few steps ahead, so I walked over to it and sat down, testing my weight on it before I relaxed completely. I rubbed my hands together and blew into them, trying to warm them up. The hand he'd been holding was still slightly warm, but my other hand was like a frozen popsicle. I hadn't expected it to be so cold up here at night, and I didn't bring anything with me except my red hoodie for warmth. You're cold. He moved to sit beside me, and I flinched without thinking. I'm not going to hurt you. I already promised you that. I know, I said, but you'll have to forgive me if I'm not the most trusting person in the world right now. I've basically just found out that members of my own coven have lied to me, possibly even murdered my family. Besides, I don't even know who or what you are, or why they were keeping you there. Did you hurt someone in the coven? Come here, he said, holding his arms open to me. I stared at him. Was he trying to comfort me? You're cold, he said. I can help to warm you up before we get going again. He was only wearing a thin t-shirt and a pair of worn jeans. Why wasn't he freezing cold too? I'm fine, I said stubbornly, but my bottom lip trembled as a gust of air blew through the trees. You're not fine. You're freezing, he said. He moved toward me and pulled me into his arms. He wrapped them around me, drawing me tight against his chest like a lover. I started to protest, but the warmth of his body enveloped me. Without thinking, I turned toward him, snuggling into him and pressing my cold hands against his muscular chest. How are you so warm? I asked, the heat of my breath getting trapped between us. It's got to be 30 degrees out here. Let's call it an innate gift, he said, smiling. I wanted to ask him more, but something about being this close to him made me feel quiet and at ease, more than just warm, safe. I'd never felt that way with a man in my entire life. Connery, he said, his lips dangerously close to my forehead as I lay against his shoulder. What? I asked, lifting my head slightly so I could look at him. My name, he said. It's Connery. Now you know who I am. I smiled and shook my head. But I still don't know what you are, I said. And something tells me that's much more important. Perhaps, he said. Can you hear them? I asked. Are they coming this way? Do we need to move? We're safe, he said. His eyes met mine, and I wondered, for the moment, if he'd been able to read my mind just now. It didn't make much sense to feel safe around someone who'd called himself a creature and had been locked up by the Order in a silver cage that looked as though it had been made to contain a monster. But there were a lot of things in life that didn't make sense. There were much more important things to rely on than sense, like passion and love and power. Being able to create light out of nothing or open a padlock with my mind didn't make much sense either. I'd learned a long time ago that it was much more important to rely on my feelings than on things that made sense. I was suddenly highly aware of my hands against his chest. In the darkness of the cabin, I hadn't been able to tell just how muscular he was, but through the thin fabric of his shirt, I could feel every hard ridge of him. I wanted to move my hands across him and down to his abs just to know what he felt like, which is exactly why I kept my hands as completely still as I possibly could. Are you feeling better? He asked. I managed. Because your heartbeat isn't slowing down, he said. I buried my head deeper in the crook of his neck, not wanting him to see my face. He was right. My heart was pounding just as hard as it had been when I was running full force, but this time it was because of him. What the hell was wrong with me? Red? He asked. I shook my head, too embarrassed to even look up. Of course, he could hear my heart beating. He could hear witches entering a forest 5 miles away, and I was practically sitting on his lap. I forced a deep breath and begged my body to cooperate. His shoulders shook with a laugh, and I wanted to curl up and disappear. I'm sorry, I said, finally managing to look up and face him. I can't seem to control it. I feel... He raised an eyebrow, the smirk on his lips returning as if he knew exactly what I felt. You're a different kind of witch than the ones I usually come across, he said, the smirk disappearing. His eyes searched mine, the yellow of them deepening to an almost amber glow. What do you mean? I asked. I can hear your heart beating, but it's more than that, he said. Now that I'm this close to you, I can feel your heart. You're not at all like the others. You would give anything to help your sister, even your own life, wouldn't you? I nodded. I couldn't look away from him. I could hardly breathe. He was so close to me, our faces nearly touching. Why would a woman like you choose to be a part of the order? He asked. His question surprised me, and I pulled away slightly. Choose? I asked, shaking my head. I never chose this. Is that what you think? He frowned. I can feel the power of the demon inside you, he said. How else would that happen if not by choice? Isn't that how it works? At first, I thought he might be toying with me, joking about the most horrific night of my life, but I could see the truth in his eyes. He has no idea. My mother was a member of the Order of Shadows long before I was born, I said. She raised both me and my sister as a part of the coven. She taught us little things when we were young, like how to light a candle or open a door, simple spells that were fun, but she never told us the part about the demon. I broke the connection with his gaze and looked away, resting my head on his shoulder again. The Order likes to keep that dirty little secret until the night of initiation, I said. I'm sure if most of us knew what their plan was for us during the initiation, none of us would choose to go through with it. It was the worst night of my life. But once it's done, there is no way it can ever be undone. That isn't true, he said. I looked up. Of course it is, I said. Do you really think I'd lie to you now after all this? I don't mean that your story isn't true, he said. I mean that there is a way to undo what's being done to you. There is a way to become free of the Order and the Ruby Coven you belong to. I shook my head. No. If there was a way, I would know about it, I said, realizing the ridiculousness of my words as I spoke them. There was so much about this world I didn't know. Why do you think the Ruby Priestess and your Prima are so desperate for your sister's powers to grow stronger? He asked. There's talk of a war, I said. A girl from the east destroying the Order and killing witches. He brought his hand to my face, the warmth of it seeping into my skin and bone. Not killing them, Red. Liberating them. I pulled back, but he held tightly to me, his hand still firmly on my cheek. I felt as if I'd just had the breath knocked out of me. Liberating witches. The Prima and the council of our Ruby Gate had told all of us that all the witches were being slaughtered. They'd said that if the girl and her demon friends brought the war to the Ruby Gates, we would have to fight for our lives against them. I wasn't sure whether I should scream or cry or fall to my knees in gratitude. A tear slid down my cheek, and Connery ran his thumb across its path, sweeping it away. Your heart is too good for this life, he said softly. I promise you that if we manage to escape these woods, I will get to Rend and have him create this potion for your sister." He spoke the words so sincerely that I felt the truth of them in the deepest part of myself. As I stared into his strange eyes, I knew with sudden and absolute clarity that my sister had sent me to that cabin to find him. She must have always known there would be no potion or elixir inside that dusty place that could save her. She was sending me to rescue this man so that he could rescue us. When I looked into his eyes, I was looking straight into my destiny. Connery leaned forward, his hand on my back, pulling me toward him. I closed my eyes and trusted my heart, my fate. Our lips met, and a fire somewhere deep inside me ignited. Until this moment, I'd had no idea how much I needed him. I slid my arms around his body and pulled myself onto his lap, our kiss deepening to something primal, unleashing a passion I'd never realized I was capable of. I had never felt so alive or so real. I wanted the moment to last forever, but Connery pulled away. When I started to question him, he placed a finger over my lips and turned his head to one side, listening. "They're closer than I realized," he said. He placed both hands on my face and looked straight into my eyes. "Listen to me, Red. You need to run straight through the woods behind me until you come to the road," he said, fear flashing in his eyes. "Don't stop for a second, no matter what you hear or see. Flag down a car and find a place where you can call a friend you trust to come pick you up. Did you leave a car of your own somewhere near the entry to the forest?" I shook my head. "No, but I don't understand," I said, clutching to him. "I thought we were going together." "We can't," he said. "You can't run fast enough to get away from them. They'll find you, and I can't let that happen. I've been searching for you longer than you could possibly imagine. I won't let anything happen to you now." "Searching for me?" I asked. "What do you mean?" His eyes locked on mine again. "There's no time to explain that now," he said. "But someday I will tell you everything." "What will you do?" I asked, tears clouding my vision. "I'm going to distract them," he said. "Lead them away from you. Just get home, and if they question you, tell them you were home with your sister all night. Don't tell them you know about me. Promise me." "I promise," I said, "but I don't want to let you go. They'll kill you, Connery." He smiled and kissed me one last time. "They've got to catch me first," he said. We stood, and he pointed in the direction we'd been traveling. "It's a straight path through there," he said. "You should hit the road in less than an hour if you keep running." He grabbed my hand and placed it over his heart. "I promise, Red. As soon as I can, I'll find you again," he said. "Charlotte," I said, wiping a tear from my cheek. His eyes clouded in confusion. "My name is Charlotte," I said. I pulled his hand to mine and kissed his warm, rough skin. He smiled and pulled me close to kiss my forehead. "I'll find you, Charlotte. I promise." With that, he turned and ran into the woods, his body a blur as his form shifted from man to wolf. I stood in the darkness, watching him as long as I could, unable to believe my eyes. I'd heard rumors of magical creatures, people who could shift into animals, but I'd never believed it until now. A howl broke the night's silence, and I jumped. He was risking his life to save mine, and I wasn't going to take that for granted. I sent up a silent wish that the witches searching the woods wouldn't find him, and then I ran. Chapter 4. Rayla tossed and turned in her small bed, her forehead wet from feverish dreams. I stayed by her side, once again praying for news from Connery. It had been 3 weeks since we'd parted in those woods, and I'd heard nothing. It tore me apart to know that the witches of my own coven might have hurt him or locked him away again. I couldn't ask anyone about it because I had no idea who I could trust. If anyone found out that I was the one who released him from that cage, they might kill me too, or worse. I couldn't risk it, but I was dying to know if he was okay. I never dreamed that such a strong connection could be made with someone after only a few hours together, but he was part of me now, a part of my journey. I wasn't sure I could survive if he never came back for me. When I got home that night, exhausted and scared, Rayla was still awake, waiting for me. "You found him, didn't you?" she'd asked, her eyes bright with mischief. "I did," I said. "You could have told me you were sending me there to meet a werewolf." She shrugged and leaned back against her pillow. "If I'd told you that, you might not have gone," she said. "He's not with you?" "He ran away to save my life," I said, fighting back tears. I would not cry in front of my sister. She needed me strong. "He'll be back," she said. She'd pulled the covers up around her body and fallen asleep. There had been no bad dreams or visions for a week after that, but they'd started up again, and they were getting worse. She moaned and tossed some of her covers aside, so I went to her and checked her forehead. She was burning up, fresh welts appearing on her arms. I pulled her covers tighter around her small body and went to get a cold washcloth to put on her skin. Before I made it to the bathroom, someone rang the doorbell. I glanced at my watch. It was after midnight. Members of the coven often stopped by to check on us and to ask about Rayla's visions, but never this late at night. If someone was here this late, something must be wrong. I ran down the stairs and threw open the door, but there was no sign of anyone outside. "Hello?" I stepped further onto the porch to look around, but I didn't see anything unusual. Whoever rang the doorbell was gone. I went back inside, an uneasiness creeping into my gut. I locked the door and went around back to make sure that door was locked too. Slowly, weighed down by doubt and confusion, I made my way back up the stairs to Rayla's side. To my surprise, she was sitting straight up in bed, staring at something clutched in her hand. "You're awake?" I asked, not understanding. "What's that?" "Connery left this for us," she said, holding out a small bottle of dark liquid. "Connery? He was here?" I took the bottle and studied it. A snake was etched into the glass along with the word venom. "Rend," I whispered. He had made it to Rend. "Where is he?" Rayla pointed to the open window near her bedside. I ran to it, pushing back the long curtains and staring out into the night. "He said to give you this and to tell you that everything would be okay now." I turned to my sister and she handed me a small piece of paper. I unfolded it and read his message to me. "Dearest Red, there isn't a day that goes by when I don't think of you. I long to hold you again, but I'm afraid that if I see you tonight, I'll never be able to let you go. It's still too dangerous, but I promise you that when the time is right, I will come for you and your sister and take you to a new place, a place where there is hope and where demons and witches live together in peace. Use this potion sparingly. A single drop every night before she sleeps will keep her from harm. Don't let anyone know you have it, and guard it with your life. I live for the day when we can truly be together, but until then, know that I am forever yours, Connery." I closed the note and stepped over to the window, hoping for just one more moment, one more glimpse of him. There was no sign of him in the shadows, but somewhere in the distance, over the sound of the chaos of the city, I heard a single, clear cry of a wolf. Yay! So that is the end of the Red story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this reading. A little bit more romancy than the last story for sure. But that was kind of the point of this anthology, was Once Upon a Kiss, romance. But this is also the first time ever I have written a werewolf So I really want to write more. And when I think about their story, I keep going back and forth between like, should I take this story and elongate it into a novel, like take the basis of this one and make it a full novel, or write something that happens after this, Yeah. So April said, can you tell us where you got the fit tracker thing you're wearing? So I got this from Amazon. Let's see, where did I link it? I think if you go to my vlog from Sunday, I think I linked it in the description box. It's from Amazon. It's just like Let's Calm. I think it was like $26, but it really works well and it tracks your sleep and everything. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Seesaw 4, it says, what a great set of characters. I love the sister bond and of course the romantic connection. So yeah, I keep thinking like if I go and write a book about them in the future, then I have to build this into it. So maybe the beginning of the book would be this story. And then the next part, like the rest of the novel, would be what happens once they, get back together or whatever. So I'd love to have more of the story to unfold from here. Yeah. So let's see. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, like I've mentioned before, there are many side characters to my Shadow Demon saga that I really, really, really want to tell stories about. And part of the dilemma in my mind as a writer is if I write what I've been thinking of in my mind as a Venom series, then if I make it separate books about like, this is Azure's book, or this is Silas's book, or this is Connery and Charlotte's book, do I make them all romances? Because I don't typically write. Now I do have quite a few books that are just kind of romances, but it's also, it's just hard to say. What I kind of have in my mind is writing maybe like a 7 or 8 book series of shorter novels, maybe like 50 or 60,000 words, that would be all set around Ren's club, Venom. And it would be a story where you've got Ren's point of view, Ren and Frankie. If you don't know them, then go back, please, and read the Sacrifice Me series. And you can read all of that in order. If you're in the Coven, Christabel has a post tagged at the top or pinned to the top that has the order for all my books and how they all go together. But you can also go to my website, sarahcannon.com, and click on reading order, and you can find where all these things fit. But Rind, who is the alchemist that made this potion for Rayla, is a main character in the Sacrifice Me series, and he also appears in the Shadow Demon saga after book 7. So, hi, we've got a baby. She's got her little sister PJs on today. Can you say hi, everybody? Say hi, everybody. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that what I would do in this case would be to write a series of maybe 8 books where you've got Ren and Frankie as POV characters, as like side characters or like anchoring characters. And then you have each book be kind of a different romance within the Venom world. So I know for sure that if I get a chance to write that, say hi. Hi. Look at these little teeth down here. Who's got little teeth? Who's got little teeth? She is always full of smiles. Is mommy tickling you? Is mommy tickling you? So some of the characters I know that I would love to write about. Azure, definitely. I feel like Azure could get her own series and I would be happy for it. And then also, I would like to write a story about Marcus, for sure. I want to write a story about Silas, Connery, and Charlotte. I would really like to write a story for Marianne and Essex too, which you know Marianne, right, from the very first book. She's just grabbing on my hair. She's going to jump up and down. She's doing this. Andrew, when he was a baby, he would be like, he did this like thing where he would sniff like, and she's doing it, but with her mouth open. Yeah, she's like panting. It's so cute. Yes, she sees herself on the computer. That's what she's smiling at. So I see a lot of people saying, I would love a story about Azure. I agree. I feel like Azure needs a romance story after all that she's been through. I feel like she could use a whole series based on herself. So yeah, there's definitely a bunch of characters I would love to tell those stories about. So that may be, if I decide to do it, it'll be coming after book 12 of the Shadow Demon Saga and after I write the last 2 books of the Deep Dark Whispers, the Spirit Walker series. Here's Andrew too. Look at this hair, you guys. We have major quarantine hair going on.
What about Evie? She barely has any hair.
I know. She doesn't need a haircut, but you do. See, people are saying hi. So can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So yeah, we've been playing around with the idea of cutting his hair for him. I don't know that that's such a good idea, but he has the most beautiful color of hair.
There on the floor.
Yes. Go on.
Wow.
So yeah, so there are ideas. And if I decide to write the Venom series, if I end up having time for the Venom series, then I definitely will write more about Connery. And you do see Connery again in, gosh, maybe just book 10. I'm trying to think if he appears in book 9 and 10, maybe 9 and 10, but now I can't remember. But he does appear, I think, in books 9 and 10. No. You just see him in Sacrifice Me season 2 so far. So yeah, there are lots of little like in and outs of characters that appear in various types of my stories, like the Shadow Demon Saga, which I love. And I'm really anxious to write another story world that will be like that, where it's going to be like spinoffs and side stories and a bigger story. But for now, I have enough on my plate. So we're just going to finish things out first. So Friday, yeah. Say bye-bye, Evie. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Are you so sweet? You give mommy kisses? I can't wait till she can actually give me kisses.
Right?
So on Friday, we're just going to have like a coffee chat. So we're not going to do, I can't do the casting for Death's Awakening. Maybe we'll do that next week. But right now, we will not be doing a casting because I am so deep into edits on The Witch's Key and I'm going to run into deadlines that I don't have time to put that together. So we're just going to do a coffee chat. So if you would like to join me on Friday at 4 p.m., same time, we're just going to be doing a coffee chat. So I'm literally just going to hang out and chat with you guys. You can ask me questions, bring coffee, bring tea, bring your water. I have my little water bottle sitting here right now instead of coffee, and we will just chat about whatever. And I'll bring a few topics in case there aren't questions, but I'll also be taking questions about whatever you guys want to ask. And we'll just kind of chat about things. Yeah, coffee and cupcakes. I have since now cut out sugar from my diet. So you guys bring some cupcakes for me and I will live vicariously through you. Yes, bring a Dr. Pepper, bring your beverage of choice, and we will just hang out. So that'll be a lot of fun. Next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live again. And I'll be reading my story Locksley, which is kind of a take on Robin Hood, except in a virtual reality. So this story has a little bit of a like science fiction feel, but also has a fantasy sort of virtual world in it. So that'll be kind of fun. And then after that, we'll have to wait and see. There will be more Witch's Key coming, of course, but I don't have a date for you yet. What I'm trying to figure out right now is, do I want to do the same thing I just did, which is like writing it as I go, or do I want to try to write it all ahead of time or have quite a bit ahead of time? And I've got to have time to finish Fate's Surrender. And I don't want to end up burning out. And I can feel that if I continue working so many hours, I'm definitely going to burn out. So I'm just going to have to take my time and just ask you guys to be, understanding that it might not be, the month of May for season 2. It might end up being June for season 2. I'm still going to go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll have other things to do, and I'll be thinking about what we can do that'll be fun. But we'll just have to wait and see, because this is fun for all of us, fun for everyone, but hopefully you guys have just as much fun hanging out and listening to these other stories. And then we'll get back to The Witch's Key as soon as I can. And, we'll just play it by ear and see when we get back there. Edits have begun and they are in full force for The Witch's Key. So I will have a vlog on Saturday or on Sunday. The Sunday vlog this week will be showing you my process for how I edit books. And so that'll be kind of a fun behind the scenes. I have all my plotting notes actually underneath my microphone right now. So yeah, that's really fun. And that will be going out to my beta readers by Friday. So I've only got a couple days to finish up the edits, and we will, update you guys. I'll update you guys on how all of that is going on Fridays. Coffee chat that we have together, which will be fun. And then I had another side story to my Shadow Demon saga. Well, first of all, I have one about Rend that's called Venom. That one is for free for you guys to read in the Coven. So if you're in the Coven, if you go to files, you can find that. And it's just in a couple of different parts there that you can read. So I can read that one as well for you guys. But I also have another story that's a side story that no one's heard before that's called One Wish. And it's another fairy tale thing based on a ruby witch that is based on Aladdin and Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, kind of a mix of the two. So if I could, that I've been working on off and on for years, and I was planning to just do it free for my newsletter subscribers. So if I get a chance to just read that one afternoon or finish it up one afternoon, then I could read that to you guys the following week. So we've got other content to read, and so hopefully you guys will stick around and hang out, and we'll just play it by ear. If I see like we're having less people show up for these than for the Witch's Key reading. So if I feel like just nobody's really interested in this, then we can kind of have some conversations about what else we can do before I finish The Witch's Key season 2. So, but so far I feel like we've still had a really good crowd, and I see a lot of the same familiar names. So I think that'll be really fun to just keep it going. So, all right, guys, I will see you all on Friday, same time, same place. We'll have a coffee chat. Bring your questions about whatever, and I will answer as many as I can. And I'll have a few other little topics for you. Sunday, I will have a vlog showing you my editing process, and I will also update you guys on how the list run is going. I'll update you if we get some mugs and stuff into, which should be awesome. But if you are just joining us today for this chat, I am trying to hit the USA Today Bestseller List this week. So if you get a chance, there is a link down below to the anthology that contains this story that I read today, Red, and it's called Once Upon a Kiss. And if you purchase it at any of the other vendors like Kobo, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, or Amazon, that will help us hit the list if you're here in the United States. So that's a little spiel. It's only $1. So go purchase it if you get a chance. Feel free to gift it to a friend, and I appreciate y'all's help. Oh, Nicole got her Sardine sticker today in the mail. Woo woo. I'm so excited. Post a picture if you can on social media and tag me somewhere. All right, you guys, thank you so much for showing up, for continuing to show up. You guys mean a lot to me, and I will see you all on Friday. All right, bye.